Good evening. Here with NewsHour agenda, I'm Madhav G. In 2 hours from now, the deadline set by Raj Thackeray for loudspeakers installed in mosques across Maharashtra will expire. But the legal trouble for him may have just begun. Aurangabad cops have registered a case against the MNS chief for his provocative statement made during his May 1st rally. He's been booked for promoting enmity between different groups, and the section slapped on him invite 10 years in prison if convicted of the charge. A non-bailable warrant has also been issued against him in a 14-year-old case. But will the Sena government actually go ahead and arrest Raj Thackeray? Before we move on, listen in to what the provocation was for which the MNS chief faces arrest.
किती मशिदींकडे परवानगी आहेत? कोणाचकडे परवानग्या नाही आहेत? मला कोणीतरी सांगितलं, कालच कोणीतरी सांगितलं, इथे संभाजीनगर मध्ये 600 मशिदी आहेत. बांगेची कॉन्सर्ट चालते की काय इकडे? 3 तारखेला ईद आहे. त्यांच्या सणामध्ये मला कुठच्याही प्रकारचं विष कालवायचं नाही. 4 तारखेपासून ऐकणार नाही. हात जोडून विनंती आहे, जिथे जिथे यांचे लाऊडस्पीकर लागतील त्यांच्या समोर दुप्पट आवाजाने तिथे हनुमान चालीसा तुमची लागलीच पाहिजे. यांना जर सहज सरळ मार्गाने जर समजा समजत नसेल तर मग त्याच्यानंतर महाराष्ट्रात काय होईल मला माहिती नाही.
Unfazed by the FIR, NBW and impending arrest, Raj Thackeray has come out to reiterate his threat. He's issued a statement calling on Hindus to play the Chalisa on loudspeakers if they hear the loudspeakers blaring azan, reiterating the threat that if steps are taken to turn a social issue into a religious one, we can give a befitting reply. With the state government now saying that they will not tolerate politics of ultimatum, the stage is now all set for a massive face-off in Maharashtra.
अगर भोंगे पे आजान 5 बजे चल सकती है सुप्रीम कोर्ट को तोड़ के, तो हम हमारा हनुमान चालीसा क्यों नहीं बजाए? ये हिंदुस्तान है. हम मंदिर में आरती करेंगे तो राज साहब पे गुनाह दाखिल होगा, हम हनुमान चालीसा बजाएंगे तो राज साहब पे गुनाह दाखिल होगा. तो ये क्या है? ये कौन सी सरकार है? हमने कल भी बोला, परसों भी बोला, 4 तारीख का अल्टीमेटम ये है और वो कंटिन्यू रहेगा. और 4 तारीख को अगर आजान बजती है भोंगे पे तो हमारी वहाँ पे हनुमान चालीसा बजेगी.
राज ठाकरे ने जो अल्टीमेटम दिया उन्होंने उनकी तरफ से जो हनुमान चालीसा,
देखिए अल्टीमेटम वगैरह बात छोड़ दीजिए. यहाँ सरकार उद्धव ठाकरे जी की है. ये अल्टीमेटम ये नहीं चलता. यहाँ अल्टीमेटम की राजनीति महाराष्ट्र में नहीं चलेगी.
तो क्या चलेगा?
हाँ,
तो यहाँ क्या चलेगा?
ठाकरे सरकार का शब्द चलेगा.
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
All right, we have a guest joining us. With us is Sanju Verma of the BJP. Ratan Sharda, author, is with us. Also with us is Akhil Chitre of the MNS. Dr. Seema Malik is from the NCP. We have with us Advocate Chandrasekhar Jha of the Shiv Sena and Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. Let me begin with the Shiv Sena spokesperson. We just heard Sanjay Raut speaking over there. Advocate Chandrasekhar Jha, he just said that ultimatum की राजनीति नहीं चलेगी, ठाकरे सरकार का शब्द चलेगा. Is that not an ultimatum? And if Raj Thackeray has set a deadline, what is the government going to do? We saw cops deployed near his residence. Will you actually go ahead and arrest Raj Thackeray tomorrow?
If required, the legal parlance says that he can be always arrested. And because his speech contains hate between the communities, so therefore there is offense being done by him. So अल्टीमेटम की राजनीति तो सही में नहीं चलेगी, चाहे वो महाराष्ट्र हो चाहे इंडिया हो. तो ये चीज़ तो गांठ बांध लीजिए कि किसी तरह का अल्टीमेटम का कोई राजनीति नहीं चलेगा.
So the stage is set for a face-off. Sanju Verma, it appears that the stage is set for a face-off, with, in fact, the state government now coming out and saying that ultimatum ki rajniti nahi chalegi. That's what Sanjay Raut said, and it's being repeated by the spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, who's on our panel here.
Madhav, 2 hours back, Raj Thackeray issued a lengthy statement, and I think it was a very mature one because A, he said the loudspeaker issue is not about Hindu-Muslim. It is about sticking to the noise pollution rules of 2000. In his statement, he even exhorted the Supreme Court judgment of October 2005. Point number B, he said, this is not a religious but a social issue. Third, he said this is not limited to Mumbai, Aurangabad or Maharashtra. It's a pan-India issue. And the most important thing is that he said the current Shiv Sena dispensation is feeble, FEEBLE, extremely weak, incompetent, inept. And I'll tell you why. Because आप एक तरफ बोलते हो अल्टीमेटम की राजनीति नहीं चलेगी, so far so good. But on the other hand,
therefore you say you support him.
You display the Thoko Rajniti. You charge the husband and wife, the Rana couple, sedition. Why? They wanted to chant Hanuman Chalisa. यहाँ हनुमान चालीसा नहीं कहेंगे तो क्या पाकिस्तान में कहेंगे?
Let me confront you then. Let me confront you then. The Rana couples are extortionists. They are extortioning the people in their assembly or in their parliament constituency and nothing else.
No, but Chandrasekhar Jha, one second. One second. Let me just cover this one point of the Rana couple. Sanju Verma, Mr. Chandrasekhar Jha. So Shiv Sena government, the Aghadi government suddenly remembered, the BMC suddenly remembered that they are extortionists now. That they are behind the bars, you suddenly realize that they are extortionists, and therefore you will send them a notice for eviction or demolition of their survey of their properties. Because the timing, many would say, is coincidental.
Let me tell you one of the fact. One of my close acquaintance was given ultimatum for not giving extortion money to Ranas. And I have all the documents with me. These documents were given to the ministry, to Home Affairs, to police, everybody.
Okay.
This project
you bring out those documents, sir. You bring out those documents and we can have a discussion on them. We certainly can't have a debate at this point of time before you bring out those documents to the public domain. I think that's a debate for another point of time. But many are going to question, and let me bring in Tehseen on this point. Tehseen Poonawalla, very often we see opposition parties come out and question the timing of certain cases, you know, the manner in which machinery, government machinery, police, etc. are misused, agencies are misused. In this particular case, you have in fact the opposition in Maharashtra coming out to question that whether the Ranas are being deliberately targeted because they've taken on the Chief Minister of the state, because they've taken on the ruling establishment of the state, and same thing of course for Raj Thackeray as well.
Thank you so much, Madhav, for having me on your show. At the onset, Shubh Akshar Triti and Eid Mubarak to you, to all my fellow panelists, and to all your viewers. May we have prosperity and peace in our country. I just have two lines to make, two sentences. One on Mr. and Mrs. Rana, or as Sanjay Raut famously or infamously calls them, Bunty or Bubbly, which I don't subscribe to. You must know that the independent MP, Mrs. Rana, has been convicted by the Bombay High Court for forgery, and she is not SC, and the Bombay High Court, let me state, says on record that she has taken the right of another person, deserving candidate, from the SC tribe. So she is not SC. However, the Supreme Court is on technical grounds, and she still not put her documents. So Mrs. Rana, this is not the first case that she is making up a fraud, as the Shiv Sena colleague rightly said. Even in Parliament, Madhav, when you cover Parliament, you remember, she alleged that the Shiv Sena MP had made sexist remarks on her. She went to the then Honorable Speaker and has been able to produce no evidence of that, and that case was dismissed. So she keeps making fake allegations as she's made now, and therefore she's in jail, not because she didn't say the Hanuman Chalisa, because of the fakery that she does. Second thing on Raj Thackeray. No.
One second, sir. You are saying she is in jail because of her past acts and not because of threatening to go and chant the Hanuman Chalisa. Are you saying that the case of sedition against her is correct?
Yes, I didn't say that.
You just said something to that effect.
No, okay, something to that effect. So I'll just repeat, I'll be very brief. I said she's had a history of fakery in the past, and she continues the fakery now.
So does that mean, so are you saying she is in jail or she is behind bars is justified because of her past acts? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't say that at all. I am saying she is in jail for a following reason. Please hear me out. The Mumbai police specifically told her, do not create a law and order problem. The day the Honorable Prime Minister of India, our Prime Minister, was in Mumbai. Despite that, she alleged she created violence there. She lied that the Mumbai police mistreated her on caste. The video then came out that she got case. Everything was proved. She said she put out more videos which she hasn't. And she continues to be in jail on the Bombay High Court order. And the Bombay High Court has had scathing remarks against her.
So tomorrow the court will hear this. But the question is whether sedition is a disproportionate to be used in this particular case or not, Tehseen Poonawalla. That's the question I'm asking you.
I personally believe that, Madhav. I personally believe that. Sanjay, you'll appreciate my point. I personally believe that. And you know me personally. I think sedition by both BJP and Congress and Shiv Sena and everyone needs to go out of our statute book. But one more point on Raj Thackeray, you will appreciate. One more thing, that Raj Thackeray is not a Shiv Sena government or the Congress or the NCP acting. It is the order of the court. Now, unless Madhav, you or Sanju Ji believe that the courts in our India is biased, the empty loudspeaker, Raj Thackeray will make all the noise, but it amounts to nothing because in 2019, empty loudspeaker, Raj Thackeray said Narendra Modi.
Okay.
It cannot be a monologue by
Okay, yeah. Carry on. Sanju Verma, your response very quickly on the point he made as far as the Ranas is concerned.
I'll just take less than half the time Tehseen took. Okay. You know, Tehseen made a very interesting point. He said he will not call the Rana couple as, Bunty and Bubbly. And Tehseen, I agree with you. We must maintain decorum. I will not call Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi, Pappu and Pinky. Now, coming to the moot point. The fact is, on one hand, you say that you believe in the Bombay High Court judgment. The same Bombay High Court has stayed the proceedings where Kapil Sibal alleged that Navneet Rana had faked caste certificate. So when Bombay High Court and Supreme High Court say that the caste certificate was not fake, that is still in the ambit of judicial review. You don't believe the court because it does not suit your narrative. But when the Bombay High Court upholds the arrest of Navneet Rana,
a person with no credibility has all the credibility. That means that
the Bombay High Court and Supreme Court have not given the final verdict on the caste certificate related.
So all the credibility is lying with the credibilities who does not have any credibility. That is your answer.
I'm saying that she faked a certificate. You are actually running foul of contempt of court by pronouncing somebody as fake when the courts are yet to decide, Mr. Poonawala.
Okay.
I just keep one line.
Okay. Okay.
Just one line. She's wrong on that. The Bombay High Court convicted her, the Supreme Court, and she has to give her documents she hasn't given.
No, the High Court.
All right.
Yes, they uphold the Supreme Court judgment.
All right, I think we're getting too much into the minutiae of this. We're getting too much into the minutiae of the case. I want to come back. I want to bring in Ratan Sharda on this. Ratan Sharda, the reason that this is being even debated at this point of time, I'm going to come to the point of Raj Thackeray in just a few minutes. The NCP and MNS spokespersons are here. But the larger question is this. There is a history in which the BMC has been used, misused, whichever way you want to look at it, in terms of their political rivals being targeted in the past, which is why people are coming out to question whether this particular action is only because of what the Ranas have done in recent days. Ratan Sharda.
Well, Rana is not the issue. Let us be very clear. Issue is what currently MNS and everybody is fighting is about the noise pollution. This issue has been debated endlessly. Courts have given their rulings time and again from 2005 onwards that loudspeaker is not part of Islam. It is not necessary. World over, it is not used anywhere. Most of the places, Middle East, including Islamic countries, to make it a point of religion is simply
let me clarify your position.
Let him speak, sir. He's just started speaking. I'll give you a chance to respond. You can respond to Mr. Jha in just a few minutes. Let him make his point.
Yes.
We have time, sir. We have enough time. We have enough time. I'm going to come to each of you. The others on the panel have not even spoken yet. Let him make his point.
आपके पास एक ही ताकत है सेडिशन का केस करने का, पकड़ के जेल में डालने का, डाल देना मुझे भी, बोलने तो दो पहले, बाद में जेल में डालना.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Sharda.
My point is, people are speaking like this. Who brought the 100-yard rule for mosque? It cannot have any musical instrument 100 yards around the mosque. For 70 years, was any rule made for temples that temples should be left peaceful? No, that was not done. So this entire communalization of the debate is against the court ruling. It is against what people feel. It is oppressing Hindus. And then even though it is not a religious issue, it has been made a religious issue by the Shiv Sena government. And people who talk of sedition, they have broken the office of Kangana Ranaut because she said something. Sharad Pawar against sedition case when it was pushed against the urban Naxals. Today you say that sedition case is required on something as inconspicuous as somebody saying, I want to narrate Hanuman Chalisa. So Hanuman Chalisa becomes communal, but Azan and Namaz become necessary part of the Islamic tradition, which is not so. So this entire game of breaking people's office, throwing people in jail, journalists, social activists, politicians, political leaders, who have been left in unmolested in Shiv Sena rule under Congress, tell me. And this same Congress in Rajasthan, what is happening in Rajasthan's rule? Same thing. That you are saying you will not allow any kind of the procession, call it provocative, but you will allow huge mics, spacious space for namaz in Jaipur or other towns. You will not take action against pre-planned violence very clearly seen in Karoli now in Jodhpur, and you will pontificate here about communal harmony and ka sawal. Last question. MN and Shiv Sena, they are separated cousins. Both of them have used ultimatums, violence to prove their point. Today, Shiv Sena is sitting in government.
Very important point.
Pontificate us on violence.
Very important point.
Sense. It's a joke.
And that is what Shiv Sena should answer, because, sir, many a times in the past, Shiv Sena has used the same threat, ultimatum, whatever one chooses to call it, kind of politics, and has issued these in the public domain. So why does it now suddenly fear once it is in power, when another political party, which has roots in the Shiv Sena itself, comes out and does that? Mr. Chandrasekhar Jha.
See, we don't fear for anybody. We
You don't
don't
care
fear
for
for
anybody.
anybody. Let me tell you clearly.
You are running the government and you don't care for anybody.
No, we don't fear for anybody. No, we don't fear for anybody.
Okay.
We don't fear for anybody.
Because you have police with you.
What the MNS is charging for, let me clear it. The 2005 judgment, which clearly says it is not the purpose of religion. It is the purpose of noise pollution. Let us clarify that first. It is not for the purpose of only Islam or the Hinduism or the Christianity. Let us not go into that.
But that is what Raj Thackeray is also saying. Mr. Thackeray himself is saying that. Mr. Thackeray himself is saying that. Let me clarify. Mr. Thackeray is also saying that. Then why have you slapped a case against him for spreading enmity amongst religions?
No, let me clarify.
Mr. Jha, if your party agrees with Mr. Raj Thackeray, why is he being charged with section 116 of the IPC, abatement of offence, provocation with intent to cause riot, section 153 of the IPC? Why are all these charges being slapped against Mr. Raj Thackeray?
Naturally, because if somebody intends to raise a communal question, it comes under the head speech, and rightly the investigative agency or the state is taking action against him.
But is he
I
not
will
saying?
not go into that sphere.
I'm going to bring in the MS spokesperson on this.
To the judgment.
Mr. Akhil Chitre, would you like to respond to the Shiv Sena representative over here who says that they also believe that this order should be implemented irrespective of religion, which appears to be what Mr. Thackeray is saying, but yet they are justifying this FIR against Mr. Raj Thackeray. Please respond to him, Mr. Akhil Chitre.
UP can do it, but Maharashtra cannot do it.
These are the new entrants in Shiv Sena. These are the new entrants in Shiv Sena, and they don't know the history of Shiv Sena. They don't know what are the views of Bala Saheb Thackeray. They only implement the views of Bala Saheb Thackeray when it comes to their benefit. When Bala Saheb Thackerays dream was that a government should be formed of Shiv Sena. That was remembered by the Shiv Senics, and Uddhav Thackeray became CM with the help of Congress and Rashtravari. But when Bala Saheb Thackeray has also stated clearly stated that when my Shiv Sena merges with Congress, when that day comes, I will on my own close this party. But only for their benefit, these new entrants and this new kind of Shiv Senics for their own benefits have formed government with Congress. And firstly, when you started on this show, the loudspeaker of Shiv Sena, Sanjay Raut, which is the loudspeaker of Shiv Sena, Sanjay Raut, stated that we don't bow down to any ultimatums. I want to ask the Shiv Sena Pravakta over here, spokesperson, at least they bow down to the orders and guidelines of Supreme Court or not? Or only they are going to use this police force against
First of all,
their rival parties, against their opposition
years,
to settle their scores.
After 17 years, who is raising this issue? Then why?
So what were you doing for 2.5 years? What were you doing for 2.5 years in the government? Did you forget the views of Bala Saheb Thackeray? What were you doing for 2.5 years? You need to answer that. While sitting on the lap of Congress and Rashtravari, you forgot the views of Bala Saheb Thackeray. You need to answer that to Maharashtra. You have forgotten Hindutva.
Madhav.
Okay, Mr. Chandrasekhar Jha.
We are answering to the people of India.
Mr. Chandrasekhar
and we are not answering to the particular state. We say that don't play a communal angle with anyone.
Okay. But before I go across to Sanju Verma,
talk about Maharashtra Navnirman Sena because we are on the path of Bala Saheb Thackeray and Hinduvi Swarajya.
No, why you say Islam
you need
only?
To learn that lesson from the history of Shiv Sena.
Why you want to play Hanuman Chalisa? Why you want to play Hanuman Chalisa? Hanuman Chalisa is not
we are not against any religion. If you have heard with your you people are drinking down Hanuman Chalisa. Honorable Raj Saheb speeches.
Okay, I think that's a fair point made by Mr. Chandrasekhar Jha. Mr. Akhil Chitre, let me just come in here. Akhil Chitre, simple question, sir. Sir, simple question being posed by the Shiv Sena. Let me paraphrase that question for you. Mr. Akhil Chitre, calm down. Mr. Jha, please calm down. Simple question that is being posed. I don't want to get lost in the din. And this is a question that the Shiv Sena is asking. The MNS must respond. They are saying that if you believe that it is for all places of worship, why is it that only Hanuman Chalisa and playing it in front of mosques is being talking about? That's what the question that they are asking. Why is that appeal coming in from Mr. Raj Thackeray? Please respond.
Raj Saheb has clearly stated in the Sambhaji Nagar rally, probably it was in Marathi, so the translation has not properly reached all the people. So I would like to tell it on your channel once again that he has clearly stated that loudspeakers in masjid also and in mandir also. So it's a social issue for us. It's not a religious issue.
So Hanuman Chalisa will be played outside temples also.
Loudspeakers.
So what are you saying, that Hanuman Chalisa will be played outside temples as well?
Chalisa, you people are playing with Hindu sentiment. No Hanuman Chalisa to be done. See,
one second, let him answer, sir. I'm asking him a question. Please calm down.
Now, if there are loudspeakers on the temple, then remove that also. We have clearly stated that.
Okay. Before I come across to Sanju Verma, there is a NCP spokesperson who has not yet spoken. The NCP has been quite silent on this episode. When we have seen the government slap sedition cases, Mr. Sharad Pawar submits an affidavit before the Bhima Koregaon Commission, Seema Malik, saying that he is against the law of sedition. Now the question is this: at a time when Shiv Sena and MNS are sparring over the legacy of Bala Thackeray, the question is, where does the NCP stand against all of this? Because here you have very clearly a battle that is going on between these two parties for the legacy of Bala Thackeray, and which is the true Hindutva party. That's what it appears to be happening on ground.
See, we are not here to discuss Hindutva today here. We are not here to discuss the certificate of Navneet Rana ji or something like you have given. You have not given.
Why not, ma'am? These are developments that are taking place today.
The show is ending now, so
discussion is sedition.
Madam, this is on.
See, I'm to tell you one thing.
This is all related. This is all related to what's been happening on ground.
Maharashtra, and the rule is for everyone. Rule is for everyone. Whether someone is a parliamentarian or a MNS chief or an ordinary person, law is for everyone, and anybody who will try to disrupt the law, peace and harmony of the Maharashtra, strict action will be taken against them. This is very clear, and nobody can challenge.
But why is action? If you feel that action should be taken against Mr. Raj Thackeray and FIR has been filed, why does the government appear to be getting cold feet? Are you scared that you will end up making Mr. Thackeray a hero, that you will end up valorizing him?
See, nobody is making him a hero or something. So nothing like that. Just a kind of narrative you people are creating that this is about Hanuman Chalisa and reciting Hanuman Chalisa. We have arrested Navneet Rana ji or something. That's and we also know that this is a wrong narrative. And I tell you this thing.
And even as we speak, in fact, there is a detention that has taken place, and MNS leader Prasad Ghorpade and his supporters have been detained by the police in Navi Mumbai. A section 145 notice has already been given. They were preparing to perform Chalisa in front of a mosque, and loudspeakers were also seized. That's the update coming in already. Of course, this is the situation on ground in Navi Mumbai, and those are the details that we are putting out. He has been detained by the police even as we speak. In fact, this is happening on ground. What can we expect tomorrow? Let me quickly bring in the MNS spokesperson on that point. Mr. Chitre, what can we expect? Already, in fact, workers of the MNS are being detained on ground by the police.
The whole speech of...
So the onus of implementing law is on the government, on this Tigadi government, Rashtrawadhi Congress and Shiv Sena. Supreme Court guidelines which has been given has to be
What is the MNS going to do, sir? Simple question.
Government.
What is the MNS going to do? That's my question to you. We know what the Supreme Court has said. Simple question. What is MNS going to do tomorrow? Are you going to carry on with the protest?
Do nothing.
Already we are working.
They will only incite communal violence.
One second. Let Mr. Chitre speak, please. Everybody but Mr. Chitre speaking. Mr. Chitre, simple question. What is the MNS going to do tomorrow? Detentions have begun. Are the protests going to happen on ground?
MNS would force the government to implement the Supreme Court orders.
Okay. Okay, the MNS would force the government to implement the Supreme
Because
Court
if the
orders.
law is equal for everyone, then it has to be implemented equally.
We are already following.
Okay.
Already following that.
One line.
And it's
Okay,
not
okay,
happening.
okay, okay. Quick.
No, you have not. No, you have not. Don't blatantly just speak lie on this channel.
All right. We're completely out of time. Completely out of time on this debate. In fact, Mr. Ratan Sharda, Tehseen Poonawala and Sanju Verma will continue with us for the next debate. I'd like to thank our other panelists for joining us.